Let's see. Stop my screen sharing. Mold making sand casting. Okay. See, my screen is visible.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, distorted part of cambered part. Yes, sir.
Go to the
Sir,
slides of the
distorted part of
last
cambered
class.
part of the
Go through
coin.
the slides of the last class. Okay. So let me finish today, then I'll discuss. So first is the in the process of casting, the first part we have completed the first part, that is our pattern making. There we'll see what is pattern, what are the allowances there, pattern allowances there, and the types of pattern and the pattern materials. So here we'll see the second method is the mold making, or the mold making for sand castings. So this figure you see here, see here, these are the steps of the sand casting process. The steps involved for the sand casting processes. The steps involved for sand casting processes. Here the first step, if you see here, first is the pattern making. First is the pattern making, see the right side. First is the pattern making, second is the mold making. In the mold making, before the mold making, there is a step, that is the preparation of the sand. After the mold making, then there is pouring. Pouring, before pouring, there is a melting of the raw materials. And in the preparation of the sands also, is joining. In the preparation of the mold making also, there is a core making. If it's needed before pouring, there is a core. Core means it is generally used for the purpose of the production of the hollow cells, manufacturing of the hollow cells. So, if needed, then we will go for the core making processes. Then we will have pouring. After pouring, then solidification, cooling, removal of sand, and then cleaning, inspection, and the finished casting product. These are the normal methods. Here also, this left side figure also you can see, as the mechanical drawing part, the part which you have to manufacture, then it should be first drawing, it should have the drawing first, then the pattern preparation. In pattern preparation or pattern making, then we have cope, drag, jig. These are the different parts of the pattern. We will go for the pattern preparation. Then there is the core boxes, core halves. If the core is needed, then you can go for the cores. Then there is a cope ready for sand. Cope ready for sand. Then we have go for the sand making process. Then we have sand making process. After the sand making, we are also preparing the drag at the same time also. We are preparing the drag also here. Then the drag after removing patterns. We are placing the pattern and preparing the drag. After the drag is completed, we have to remove the pattern here, because patterns are used only for the creating the mold cavity mirror images of the product we manufacture. So drag with core, set in plate. They are to be set. Cope and drag, that is to be set. Then casting or pouring method will be going on. After the pouring, then we have to remove the, after pouring, we have to wait for the solidification and cooling process, then removal of the sand, then cleaning and inspection, and finish casting. These are the methods. So steps associated with the sand casting. So already we have discussed these things. Then we'll go to the next table. So we'll go to the next slide. See the sand casting. In generally mold preparation, we have to use sand. The mold material is generally the sand. So there are other materials are also there. A suitable and workable material possesses high refractory in nature. So which metal we can choose? Metal we can choose that will be workable metal with a high refractoriness. That metal should have high refractoriness. What is the refractoriness? We will be seeing properties of the cyans. And metal can be metallic or non-metallic. That does not mean the non-metallic metal can be made as the mold, or metallic metals can be made. Both metals and non-metals can be used as the mold metals. For metallic category, the common materials are if you are using the metallic materials as the mold, then the metals are generally cast iron, mild steel, and alloys of steel. Cast iron, mild steel, and alloys of steels. In non-metallic category, we have the molding cyans, plaster of Paris, all of you see in the roadside castings, graphite, silicon carbide, and ceramics. Silicon carbide and ceramics in non-metallic category. So in non-metallic category, the molding cyans is very commonly used. The molding cyans non-metal molding metal because of its certain inherent properties. What are the properties there in the molding cyans? Is the main properties. That is why we are using the molding as the mold as a sand. Is that the main reason is its refractoriness, chemical and thermal stability at higher temperature, then high permeability and workability along with wood strength. So these are the properties by which the sand will be used as a mold. That's the generally we need these properties for the casting processes of a material when you are preparing the mold. So the sand has these are the properties, that is refractoriness, chemical and thermal stability at high temperature, high permeability and workability along with good strength. So these are the properties why we are using sand as the casting material. So mold making in the salt casting, the sand mold sand is the most common utilized non-metallic molding sand. Because of its, these are the properties again I am written here, the refractoriness, chemical thermal stability at high temperature, these are the properties. So what are the sources of this sand? Where we got this? What are the sources of this molding sands? The sources are beds of sea, rivers, lakes, beds of sea, beds of rivers, beds of lakes, and granular elements of the rocks, granular elements, and the deserts. The sands available at these places are generally used as the molding sands. Sources of molding sand available in India. What is the availability in India? I'll go to stop my video because there is the internet issues. Connection is very poor showing. So stop here. So what is the availability of molding sand in India? So main availability is Batla sand, Punjab, Ganges sand, Uttar Pradesh, Oiria sand, Bihar, Damodar and Barkar sands, Bengal, Bihar border, Lodha sand, Bombay, Gittamanu sand, Andhra Pradesh, and Avdi and Beria sand, Madras. These are the sources of sand from where we can obtain good molding sands. Okay. Go to the next slide. Then types of molding sand. When you see the types of molding sand, see the types of molding sand. Generally, the molding sands are three categories. That is called the green sand or the natural sand. Then the silica sand, that is also called synthetic sand, and also the special sands. So what is that green sand? The green sand, this is the green sand mold. Green sand means it is the composition of sand, clay, water, and additives. We are already discussed these things because we are already over that discussion is over also. In typical composition by weight percentage, we know that 70 to 85% is sand, 10 to 20 percentage, 10 to 20% of clay, 3 to 6% of water, 1 to 6% of additives. These are the typical composition of green sand mold. Green sand mold means it is a combination of sand, clay, water, and additives. Okay, so clay is the binder. Generally, we are saying that sand, binder, water, additives. So clay is the binder here. Then the synthetic sand. Then synthetic sand, also known as the silica sand, not having binder. What is the difference between the green sand and synthetic or silica sand? Is that it don't have any binder. Okay. So desired strength and properties developed by separate addition of binder like bentonite, water and other materials. More expensive than natural sand. It is expensive sand. The synthetic sand or silica sand is very much expensive than other sands. So another thing, there is special sand. Another category of sand, that is special sand. Special sand is the zircon coarse of brass and bronze castings, olivine for non-ferrous castings, chromite for heavy steel castings. Then chrome magnesite used for facing metal in steel castings. These are the special sands. First, the zircon. Zircon is used for coarse of brass and bronze castings. This type of sand. Zircon sand is generally used as a core of brass and bronze castings. In brass and bronze, the olivine, that is for non-ferrous castings. If we have non-ferrous metal, then we will have using olivine. Then chromite for heavy steel castings. Then chrome or magnesite used for facing metal in the steel. These are the generally molding sand categories, or the types of the molding sands. So we'll go and move to the next slide. Then properties of molding sand. What are the properties of the molding sand? We have already discussed the properties. That the important properties are the strength, permeability, deformation, flowability, and refractoriness. If you see the strength of the molding sand depends on the grain size and the shape. We will discuss each individual. The strength of the molding sand depends on the grain size and shape. Then the moisture content, then density of the sand after ramming. There is a ramming process by setting the sand in the frame. That is a ramming process. If the time permits, I will tell you what is that ramming process. It is a practical thing that you, until unless you do prepare a sand mold, you cannot understand all the things at the same time. So the strength of the sand depends on the grain size and shape, moisture content in the sand, and the density of the sand after ramming process. So the strength of the mold increases with decreasing of grain size. So how the strength depends on grain size? If the grain size of the sand is small, then we have high strength. An increase of clay content and density after ramming. The strength also depends on the increase of clay content and density after ramming. If the density is high, then the strength of the sand will be high. The strength also goes down if moisture content is higher than the optimum value. So we have a composition. Sand composition means there is some limits of the sand, clay, water, and additives. So we cannot go beyond this, because it will go beyond means we are decreasing the strength of the sand casting. So sand mold. So in am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. See. So in strength, there is two categories of strength. That is called, one is called green strength, other is called dry strength. So what do you mean by the green strength and the dry strength? We will see this. So by virtue of this property, pattern can be taken out of the mold. Pattern can be taken out of the mold without breaking the mold, and also be erosion of the mold. Sorry, there is a connection issue there. Sorry for that. So, see, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yes,
Okay. So,
yes, sir.
listen. So, what is the green strength? Green strength means the first meaning of that green strength means if you we are preparing the pattern. Patterns are placed on the mold, means sand mold, on the sand. After placing the pattern on the sand mold, sand pattern is used for the purpose of creating the mold cavity. That means the imprints on the sand. So during the imprinting or after the imprinting is done, we have to remove the pattern. We have to remove the pattern. The side that imprint will be done on what? On the sand. During the removal of the pattern, that the walls of the sand or the walls of the mold cavity that could not be broken. Okay, the walls of the sand cannot be broken out. That is green strength. That is green strength. Suppose बुझिपार्छ ना बुझिपार्न ना ओडियार कहबी. What do you mean by the green strength? Pattern can be taken out from the mold without breaking the mold and also erosion of mold wall surface. That means the mold cannot be broken and the erosion cannot happen on the mold wall surface. That is the green strength. By placing, during the creating of the mold cavity, we are placing the pattern in the sand, so that the imprinting or the sand mold cavity will be formed, and then we have to remove that pattern. During the removal process, that walls cannot be broke and the erosion of the walls cannot be made. That is the green strength of the sand mold. So the green sand after water has been mixed to it must have sufficient strength and toughness to permit